Okay, will you start?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Well, good evening, everyone. Respectable Professor and Mr. Vijay, my teammates. I present myself, Ken, followed by Namrata, Keshav, Arasan, and Mirena.
Good evening.
First of all, we thank you all for giving us the opportunity to present this nice company, which is called Harley Davidson. Without any further delay, I wish to embark you all on a small presentation of the company, and my teammates are going to elaborate a little bit more about the company. Harley Davidson was founded in 1903 by Harley and Davidson brothers. The initial, why they created Harley Davidson was basically to put an engine on a bicycle. They called it a power cycle. Unfortunately for this poor fella, the power cycle was not strong enough, powerful enough to climb up the hill. So from there, the initial core value of Harley Davidson into innovation, they had to try to develop a new engine. So they created a bigger engine. And from there, they start this trend of bigger and larger engines. This is the creation of Harley Davidson. Today, Harley Davidson is a public company. It is listed in the US. It has over 5,300 employees across 100 countries and has over 1,500 sales points internationally. Okay? This whole organization is today led by Matthew Levatich, as you can see the name there, who has been bringing this, who is leading the company in such a way that they still go through innovation, technologies, and the automobile industry as a whole, but keeping it traditional. Right. Today, we must all recognize that Harley Davidson went through the financial crisis. There were actually two companies, Harley Davidson and Indian Motorcycle, which is the brand, which went through the recession almost unharmed. Okay. Today, this company has 5.4 billion in terms of revenues and has over 10 billion in terms of asset, which is a strong asset for the whole company to go. Right. So, apart from motorcycles, Harley Davidson has also some other products. They do helmets, they do accessories, but this represents only 5% of the whole of the product revenues. Without further delay, I would like to invite Namrata, who is going to speak about the resources that the company uses for its competitive advantages.
Well, thank you, Ken. So I'm going to talk about the resources that Harley Davidson needs to compete in the motorcycle industry. As you can see, the resources are categorized under tangible and intangible resources, which are further split down into internal and external ones. Under internal tangible resources, focus on research, development, and innovation. Investment into this resource has enabled Harley Davidson to produce new products, for example, new engines, and also constant upgrading on their spare parts, which has allowed customers to enjoy better adventure with their Harley motorcycles and a better experience in riding their motorcycles. And today, with the emerging of Industry 4.0, Harley Davidson is already using machine learning, robotics, and also artificial intelligence within the company. Next, human resource. Already possessing a skilled workforce, their employees are working continuously in improving their work procedures in order to add value for their customers. High level of customization products. Harley Davidson customers can enjoy today with their own personalized and unique motorcycle. So they can differentiate with other ones because they have their own. Moving on to external tangible resources, location, which is a prime factor for them. Today they have expanded internationally over, I can say, over 100 countries. And with this expansion, they are enjoying with a wide exposure, wider presence, more brand awareness, brand recognition along the countries. And for example, here in our country, we do have a Harley Davidson showroom. So since you cannot buy directly from the company, you need to go through an authorized Harley Davidson dealer. So Harley Davidson has efficiently managed its distribution facilities and dealership networking around those countries. Next, on to internal intangible resources. Having clear and well-established values inculcated into the company, the employees are very much committed towards their work to deliver service excellence to its customers. And also with strategies, such as HR strategies, they have established open and clear communication between the employees, and also self-management, and also they should actively participate. And this has allowed better workflow within the company. And also, Harley Davidson has gone into lean manufacturing, for example, just-in-time system. We have also continuous improvement system within the company, and also people involvement. And this in all has allowed better work practices within the company. Next, on to external intangible resources, customer proximity. We all know that customers are like king. They should be treated like king. And so Harley Davidson has created a Harley's Owners Group, which allows a reunion between the employees and customers. Therefore, with this group, the seniors can interact better and in person with the customers. And so they can share their feedback, their views about the products, and interact better. And also this group, they organizes events like rallies, and they also support causes such as breast cancer. They do like rallies to support these causes, and they also involve not only employees but also customers. And with this, they have formed a Harley family, and the customers are treated as part of the company and they're not left out. So being considered as part of the company, this has really and extensively they have contributed towards customer and brand loyalty of the company. So with this, I leave the floor to Keshav, who will talk about capabilities of Harley Davidson.
I have one question for you now.
Yes.
You did mention two things. One was related to service level improvement.
Yes.
Typically, for any motorcycle or vehicle, it has a reliability guarantee.
Yes.
So, how has Harley Davidson ensured that the customers get better reliability of their machines?
Yes. So, as stated, in the past, they were only using research and development, and they do have like competitors such as Honda and Toyota, which are constantly upgrading into their spare parts. So using innovation and latest technologies in their spare parts, and with constant upgrading, they are ensuring a better comfort level. And in case customers are having problems, they can go to their dealers to have like maintenance for maintenance issues. They can go to them and they can see what is the problem. But as stated, Harley Davidson is really using its innovative solutions to constantly upgrade their spare parts. And they have also provided new engines, because in order to provide better experience for the youngsters, because these youngsters they do really enjoy like speed, adventure, and lifestyle. So I think yes, they have been able to really look into this with these solutions.
Do you have any data related to the reliability of their equipment? Because typically for any machine has to give a reliability that okay, for 1,000 kilometers or 5,000 kilometers, you don't even need to service the vehicle. It has to have some reliability, and Japanese are known for having this concept propagated, So because it's an American company.
Yes.
So do they have let's say a service systems where it's up to 5,000 kilometers you don't require a service to be done or something like that? Because the
Actually,
reliability comes out of that.
As far as I know, Harley Davidson is well known for its durability. So maybe if you can go to a showroom, they will say to you that the engine will run 100,000 kilometers without any problems. I guarantee you that.
yes, because they have worked, they have worked with the spare parts, so they know they have tested it and they have, to provide that they can go to such distance. Because what's the use of using such a luxury brand and not using it efficiently? So yes,
Yeah, because engine is the heart
Yes.
of machines.
a machine, yes.
So reliability primarily comes out of that.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to talk about the capabilities of Harley Davidson. So first of all, to really compete in this motorcycle industry, Harley Davidson had to change its whole STP approach. And one way to do it was to focus on the female customers. So currently, only 8% of Harley Davidson riders are women riders. So there's obviously a target to grab out there. And one way to demonstrate for them to reach out to female riders is one picture. I don't know if you can see it here. It's an advertisement of Harley Davidson of a woman rider running a Harley Davidson bike. So this is one way that you can use to approach the other segments of the market. Another thing to mention is the age group. So unfortunately, Harley Davidson has been struggling to reach out to the millennials or generation X, Y, or Z, or whatever new generation there is nowadays. So one way to fight this is to implement drastic online advertising. Online advertising is also known as the best millennial approach. Another segment here that we can talk about is culture. So stereotype, Harley Davidson has a stereotype of being a white man bike. Harley Davidson is not promoting itself as a motorcycle company, but rather as a lifestyle. So anyone who can afford this lifestyle wants to get a piece of that, Harley Davidson. So they have started to get in touch with the black community. This is one of example in the United States. We have started to reach out to the black community by again going through advertising. Another segment that I would like to mention here is Harley Davidson does not discriminate. Harley Davidson does not judge. Harley Davidson has been the pride supporter of the movement Ride with Pride, which is why I've implemented this beautiful flag of rainbow here. Now let's talk about diversification of its product. Unfortunately, Harley Davidson doesn't have a really wide variety of products. So it has some motorcycles, of course. It has products, so clovers, gloves, and hoodies. But there's one part of the diversification that was not touched before, which is renting. So renting has been the new approach for Harley Davidson. Now, when we talk about renting, when you rent something, you rent something that you know you're going to spend only a short amount of time with it. So you want something that is personalized, which is where customization goes through. So I don't know if you can see here, there's 3 types of approach that Harley Davidson has been doing: custom approach, touring approach, and performance approach. Custom approach is to reach out to people who want a personal touch of their motorcycles. Touring approach is for those who favors long drive. And performance approach are those who are in search of thrills and the need for speed. Reviewing the target market. So, as I've mentioned before, targeting the new generation has been the focus part of Harley Davidson. So, online advertising, especially on social platform, Facebook and Instagram, has been one of the biggest approach here. And also, talking about international geolocation, Harley Davidson has implemented itself in hundreds of countries, and one of them was, I can mention, is India. So fortunately enough, I was in Chennai, India, a few weeks ago, and I have seen how Harley Davidson showroom in one of the shopping mall there, and the way they have dressed their shop, the retail shop, you can see that they are really targeting the Indian market. And another country where Harley Davidson has been targeting is Malaysia, which is represented here on one of the posters of Harley Davidson Malaysia, which mentions Harley Davidson of Melaka. The constant operating of motorcycles and the new product development. So, with the new generation, people now want efficient engines, as you just mentioned previously. There's new engines, new technologies, people want new things. This is a picture here that illustrates the different type of engines that Harley Davidson have and is currently working. Now to merge that with a new product development, nowadays millennials, they don't want to ride their grandfather's motorcycles. They don't want the one that's heavy, they don't want the one that's loud, they want the new thing. And the new thing is the green approach. Further during this presentation, we're going to talk about the LimeWire project, which is the target for 2020 of Harley Davidson. So now it's Arasan and Mirela who will continue to talk about the effectiveness of Harley Davidson.
Okay, just a minute. I would like you to answer one query. See, you specified that they are trying to target millennials. And that's where was their deficiency or limitation.
That was really young.
Can millennials really afford Harley Davidson?
This is where comes
Millennials are people who have
millennials
people who are
college.
born in 2000 and above. Okay.
This is where
Today is 2019. A 19-year-old, can he afford a Harley Davidson?
So this is where comes the approach of renting.
Okay.
So renting is a new approach for them now, because now people don't want to invest heavily into motorcycles. So this is why we're renting, and also at the same time renting has also pushed for customization. So fortunately for them.
Okay. So renting. So they want to offer these renting concepts to
Renting,
these
yeah.
millennials to induce into them.
Yeah, introduce them. Obviously, as I mentioned, in the shops there's other articles. There's hoodies, there's jackets, there's shoes. So this is one way to also target the millennials approach. Because if you look at the social media platform, you want to see motorcycle. You will see the people wearing the clothes as well. So this is one of the ways to target the millennial.
What kind of products are these accessories called? In the business parlance, these products, if you remember, the principles of 5 forces of competitiveness, these accessories play what kind of role? What type of role do these accessories play? Supplementary products. Supplementary means it is a replacement. Are these replacement?
Complementary.
They are complementary.
Thank you. So they are complementary products. So that helps building the brand.
It builds into the culture, the image, and the branding.
Okay, thank you, Keshav.
So, thank you, Keshav. So, with the wave of constant changes in the business environment, it can be seen that the survival of organization has become a threat due to the competitiveness of markets. Right? So, in order to analyze all of this and also have an exposure of the environment in which Harley Davidson is providing its services and also its business, we are trying to look into detail what the weaknesses and applied strategies plus more effectiveness. So here our main topic of discussion will be the effectiveness of HD strategies in exploiting its key weaknesses while protecting itself from key weaknesses. So you will see that right behind me you have a table with two columns. The first one will show you the weaknesses, the second one will show you the applied strategies and effectiveness. From here you will see that we have three main points: narrow product mix, limited market research, supply chain, and the last one, high price. So the applied strategies of Harley Davidson, here you will see that it did try to stay traditional, which mainly focus on customization of its existing models to create new unique models, and also HD bikes also created brand fidelity, which means that Harley Davidson is in the luxury market. So normally it will have a high price tag. So in order to be able to maintain the competitiveness in the niche market, brand fidelity is very important. So my friends had discussed before that the brand fidelity is really important in order to survive competitors. So another point is that Harley Davidson tried to implement global sales around the planet, which means we have just said that there is India. So we are targeting more markets in today's business, which gives reachability of customers, and then another point, better pricing transparency, which means that Harley Davidson is really trying to make the customer confident about their products. It is very important that an organization is able to make the customers trust them and they trust them back. The third point will be the leader in the luxury motorcycle. So the uniqueness of Harley Davidson, which you also asked a question to Namata about the proofs of durability. Exactly. So remaining in the luxury motorcycle market, it is important that we can maintain the standard. The standard meaning that it keeps the margin high, and you will see that, referring to the case study, that the margin compared to competitors were increasing. They did go through recession, as Ken said, but they did try to go up the line and make millions. So we have other effective strategies. I guess you will all agree we are already experiencing Industry 4.0. So, meaning Industry 4.0, Namata said that Harley Davidson did pursue in the product and research development, which means that in this industry, going to the new towards the new is important, which means that the new products which will be and is in value would be the fully electric bikes. So, going towards environmental friendly is the new trend nowadays. It is important that Harley Davidson is able to maintain the standard not among only a certain market, but to be able to broadcast its brand globally. The last one is that evolving the Harley Davidson Qualcomm experience. So, you will see that most of us serve on the internet. It is very important that we take note of it, and also we consider it is that everybody nowadays have a surfing machine, a mobile phone, even a laptop. So people tend to go on the internet at first before going to the workshop. They will try to look for reviews, they will try to look how they share their products via their website. So evolving the Harley Davidson experience has become emerged. So, as well as effectiveness and weaknesses at first, we do have some threats. The table right here will show you from threats, responding to threats, and further recommended responses to threats. Threats are important today to be able to consider and anticipate future needs. Future needs, I would say, like, at first I said electric bikes. It is a trend nowadays. We will have hybrid cars. Why not electric bikes? Of a brand like Harley Davidson is something which will attract customers in the niche market. So from first here, you see we have 3 points. First point is aggressive competition.
Challenge which HD should actually mitigate by sustaining and enhancing its competitive edge. For instance, the company can win a price war by accepting reduced margin, reduce costs, increase volume production in its Europe and Asian market that will ultimately lead to lower cost per unit and economies of scale in manufacturing, design, production, and distribution. Besides, the company can also consider various differentiation strategies to enhance customers' centricity and emotional attachment to the brand. For instance, separate department for R&D can be implemented to enhance customer centricity and satisfaction. Further product customization can also be considered. In addition, the brand can also enhance its uniqueness and resonance by releasing a limited motorcycle edition as part of its promotional mix.
Second point of threats, here you will see that we have imitation.
Imitation, therefore, we would recommend HD to reinforce its property intellectual rights, such as more patent, that would make it difficult or even expensive to imitate.
And the third and last part will be increasing preference for electric vehicles. So, Mr. Radical, we did try to implement electric bike here. You will see at the top, but due to the projector you will not see clearly. But the architecture is almost the same.
In essence, though the brand is recognized for its big engine with the Harley feel and experience, yet it can consider expansion of its fully electric live-wire motorcycle, both as a strategic move for new target market and eco-friendly products.
I have one question before we go for the next one. One, how many numbers of bikes does Harley Davidson sells each year?
Approximately 240,000 units are being produced, so roughly the same amount is being sold.
Yes. If you know who are their competitors in the same range, how much do they produce?
Okay, so I'll just take over this part. I think Harley Davidson produces around 240,000 units per year. But if you take Honda produces 7 million bikes per year.
No, are we in the same range? See, Honda
We
can
are still in the motorcycle industry,
Yes.
but Honda has they do produce the big engine bikes, but they don't produce these chopper-like bikes. And this is where Harley Davidson stays the king of this niche segment.
Yeah, so that's why. So in that niche or heavy, let's consider in the total. So from an Honda perspective, but Kawasaki or Honda produce millions of bikes years, okay? But they are in different range. They can be as small as maybe 100 cc 4-stroke economy bikes, and they are into 300 400 cc heavy duty bikes. So if we consider heavy duty bike segment, where do you see Harley on the numbers against their competitors? Why I'm asking this question in between is in the entire presentation we did not see any specific or any reference of any competitors in?
It's coming.
Yes,
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. But I will just go
Inside
through that
is
slide.
coming.
I will just go through that slide so we can complete that.
Fine, no issues. Then I have one question on the electric bike.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you very much.
Now, so you have that in place.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Because I did not see their competition. Harley Davidson is wanting to make an electric bike. Is their new dream, or they have already produced one? Are they offering this product to the market, or they are in the process of developing it?
So,
It's
I will-
in the
I will- I will
current
just-
strategy. Sorry, it's in their current strategy. Recon has more road to Harley Davidson and release in 2022.
So that's in
Expected.
process.
Yes.
That's in
Exactly.
process.
It is
As
very-
part of their as part of the expectation for eco-friendly new and more customization.
And you can see the picture over there on the right.
Yeah.
Is the how do you call it? The prototype.
Probably once we are done, we will just close that light and see that, because I would like to see how that prototype
Yes,
looks
that's
like.
why we illustrated it in the
Yeah.
presentation, but unfortunately it's not that clean.
There you go.
So it looks very similar to the same the Harley bikes.
Yeah. It
But-
has the same architecture basically.
Okay, but they don't look the
No
this-
chopper.
Not the chopper, yeah,
Not the
because
chopper.
that's the what they used to be called as Viking bikes. huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Viking-
because
Viking bikes.
this is the simple reason because due to the efficiency of the tires and the models of the foams and all, that's why they had to go for this type of.
Yeah, this is more of an aerodynamic
Yes,
model.
exactly. Exactly.
Also, you did mention about how they are trying to implement a strategy against their weaknesses.
Mhm.
What is one of their strongest of the strength which they are using to hit out at their weakness?
The branding, Harley Davidson for many years have proven that the brand, their name, just pinpoint out to anyone out there. They will say that they know Harley Davidson are the big chopper bikes. So applying it here, the strength of the branding, customer loyalty, it is something to work on and progress on, which they did try to make to go up the line. And today, we are still making billions, and in the future, we will keep making billions because we are following new trends, implementing new strategies in product and development, which is a very good point and positive point. Moreover, Industry 4.0, we are actually here, but in the years to come, Industry X.0 will be here. So, the strength of the brand, when you will put it on an electric bike, you will go for the loyalty of the customers. It is one of the main strengths.
Also, you did mention that you did mention, Mirza, that they would like to, as a point, they would like to go into the newer markets, lower their costs, and increase their volumes.
As part of their strategies, yes, to win a prize war, they could consider
Yeah. Okay, so that's
through
where-
value chain. It can also be considered through value chain, more value chain, and then accept reduced margin and even increase their production volume that will lead to economies of scale.
Where all currently Harley Davidson has manufactured? As of now, where all is?
Yes.
Anybody from the team can answer.
Just to add to her point, as I mentioned, they are already using just-in-time approach. So using that, they will try to not to keep their stock for longer, so keeping the low cost, using that system approach. So they are trying to produce more volume while keeping their cost low.
Every automotive company in the world uses just in time. So
Yes,
it is
but-
not a uniqueness. In fact, it is as just in time that really means that not even one shift production,
Yes.
other than engines and chassis, not even one shift production of spare, the other assembly points are kept in the inventory. Is as low as that. So it's the supplier, the tier 1 and tier 2 suppliers are expected to supply just one shift before on, it's called as line supply.
Yes.
And that's why it's a highly lean manufacturing.
Manufacturing, yes.
Automotive is always highly lean world over, whether it's Harley or anybody else.
there were several strategies also for this cost efficiency and all that stuff. What they did, I think it was in 1986 or something when they went public. They started investing massively into R&D, and then they decided further to merge the factories. So there were two factories in two different regions that were producing several parts. They merged the two here and the two there. So they reduced this traveling cost between the factories, one thing. And then they went to open a factory in India also to better serve the Indian market and lower all the, the freight and all this cost for the client at the end. And so basically throughout the whole line, there has been optimization of the whole supply chain.
Otherwise, currently Harley has plants only in the United States.
They do have in India
Major manufacturing plant is in
major
the
one
US,
is in,
you're right.
yeah, and they are opening. They
The
open
second
also
one is just been
India.
opened in India now.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
That's the reason I asked. For them, their product costs also become expensive because living in luxury bike, there are very high import duties in most of the countries for that product.
I think they reduced the
50% tax.
50% tax.
Has
in
been
India.
reduced, yes.
Yeah. But Trump is not so happy because he wanted 0%. But
Oh, that's literally the whole way.
50% is still okay.
You can present the next slide. Yeah, that slide. Sorry.
Please, next. In addition to the mentioned price-based strategies and various differentiation strategies, HD can also leverage on opportunities related to the global motorcycle market potential to address further development and business growth. For instance, new market penetration can be considered in emerging economies, further product diversification to include the lightweight motorcycle, innovate the HD brand to include more eco-friendly products, strategic alliance with complementary business that would broaden the customer base and allow more investment for R&D. It can also create country-based teams that would closely execute legal dimension, demographical barriers and obstacles, and also investment that would promote HD for international market prospects. Establish manufacturing plants in foreign countries to alleviate shipping, expenses, tariff, and also new target market for focus on younger and middle class customers. While there are various options that currently HD could consider to address and mitigate its threats in the motorcycle industry, we believe that the company should choose one that it can pursue with its existing resources and competencies, and also one that is in line with its vision and mission, which shall now give us more insight along with its competitive in the market.
Thank you, Tim.
You've already taken 25 minutes. Yeah?
So
You're over your specified time.
So to sum up the whole of what my team said, okay, I'll just give a little overview of how Harley is doing in a new market like India. Today, Harley has around 46% of the market in terms of motorcycles in India for the heavyweight ones, right? And we can see throughout their implementation, their presence there, in 1 year time, they achieved 26% growth. Okay, so the strategic vision of Harley Davidson to go abroad, while their market was still the US and the Europe, the two biggest markets of Harley, the approach towards the Asian market has been very successful so far. Right. So to conclude, on a general note, if I would compare instead of the competitors like Honda, Triumph, and other motorcycles, I would compare Harley Davidson as being a luxury product like a Rolex watch or a Rolls Royce. Today, Harley Davidson is the Rolls Royce of motorcycles. So this company, whatever the type of threats, whatever is, you name it, any kind of threat or whatever that may crop up, right? Harley Davidson is going to grow. As simple as that. Because people, through Harley Davidson, they get their freedom. And people don't want to be stereotypes. With that, I say to all of you, thank you very much. My team, me, Ken, Arasen, Mirela, and Madame Kesha, thank you a lot for your time and attention.
Sure.
Thank you.
I have only one question.
Yes. Go ahead.
Last one is, you did mention that in They have 46 market share, and in Indian or Asian market, they have grown 25% in the last few years. See, it is always easy to grow in numbers when your base is small. If I have my sales have been 100 last year, making them 150 is relatively easy. In a million people, billion people market. The moment that becomes from 100 to 10,000, then counting 10% even growth on that is very difficult. So making 24% growth in a niche market is nothing great, if you ask me. But okay, for a product which is very expensive, yes, it's definitely creditable that they have been still able to make inroads into the market.
See, the Harley products are indeed the luxury products. If I take 100 people in one room, maybe at least one or two will have a Rolex watch. The same way, every family would want to have a Harley in front of their door. Whatever the age or what they want to wear or how much money they have, they all want to have a Harley Davidson. So if we were to compare Harley Davidson to other products, eventually the growth size, the growth rate might be the same, but the number might be different. But the good thing is, the change of leadership throughout the years from Wandel to Leverage has shown that their strategic vision to go global has been successful. And in a country like India, where there is a lot of small motorcycles, I would say, they prefer smaller engines. The penetration is positive. So regardless of the small engine, big engine, poor people, the implementation is positive. So I believe that in the future, like Narasen said, even if you see a Harley Davidson emblem on a fully electric bike, people will still want it. And this is how strong Harley Davidson is nowadays.
And we shouldn't miss that it's one of the most strong and financially stable motorcycle company in the industry.
Exactly.
Which has run through the 2008 recession with almost limited impact drop in the sales and recognized 531 million net income as at 31st December 2018.
If we take the mission and vision, the core value is to get closer to the customers and across all the stakeholders. And this is the vision and mission.
Well, I invite all of you. I have simple, small questions. The first big question is, how many of you have experienced HD?
We can start in the order. Quickly, one line. I've experienced Harley in the showroom only. I haven't gone on a Harley yet.
Unfortunately.
When I went to India, I went to a show of Harley Davidson. It was impressive.
I think they can definitely allow you a small ride in case if you show
Of
some
course
Yes,
interest.
they
Yeah,
allow
they
for
will.
test drives. They
Yeah,
allow
yeah,
for
there's
test
If we
drives.
go with our badge, they will.
They do allow for
Yes.
test
I think
drives.
in case if you would have got your pictures with HD, would have definitely made some difference in your
We
overall
can Photoshop
presentation.
that.
Actually, that gives you an extra edge, an extra confidence when you talk about the product. It's all about experience.
But its figures have given us the thrill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Another important thing is most of the time you have said the sustainability of this machine or this company is just unchallenged. What makes you believe this when Lehman Brothers has died in front of us? I mean, Lehman Brothers Bank died. Okay.
So this is one of an example of an unforeseen threat that can come to a company. But if we look at the implementation of, for example, the R&D implementation that Miriam talked about, and also the vision and the mission of the company, Harley Davidson knows, but at least it has a prepared plan in case something unexpected happens. Unfortunately, some financial threats, political threats are unseen, and we can't foresee them also. But
And it's
also,
one
if
of
we
the
look-
two companies that had limited impact that went through the 2008 recession.
Yeah, but then that doesn't give them immunity. against the dynamics of the environment, the way it is going on. Good. Second point, you said Industry 4.0 is already there in the nerves of this machine per se company. What is the difference between the product which did not have I40 in the nerves and now it is there? Has the vehicle gone smarter?
I guess I can take if you allow, I can take the example of BMW. I don't know who went to the website of BMW so far. When you're at home and you don't need to go to the showroom, you just go on BMW and you just modify the car the way you want it to be. To every possible detail, to the carbon coating, to the wheels, to the color. This is an example of the impact of Industry 4.0. If I take BMW, it's got like hundreds of competitors, and still it is the leading one because they give this facility to their customers to go and modify, no need to move. And they can even see the whole list. It is made in such a way, it's so easy to choose what you want, the color and all. The same way, like Arasan said, they're trying to improve their whole experience website. And the same way they want to implement this part of Industry 4.0 where people can interact with the factory directly, like Nike made a few years ago. All right. So this is where Industry 4.0 is having its impact not only on the car manufacturing industry, they're going to motorcycle, maybe in the future will be bicycle, and maybe will be the food as well. So this is how throughout the whole process there's Industry 4.0 nowadays.
The one and the last.
Yes.
A good presentation, I must say.
Thank you.
I would just add one more point, maybe it's for your future reference. That if you would have taken a role in a company, like maybe you are CEO, quality engineer, someone is marketing manager, someone is,
Yeah, okay, I see the
and then tell us a story that this is my company and I'm coming here to demonstrate what my company is. I think the version, the confidence, the narration, that actually has a different kind of presentation altogether. I knew your presentation was going to be special